In this video, we're going to start talking about color. But before we do that, I want to talk to you about the horizon line or the table line. So in our drawing, we created a Campbell's soup can, a cylinder, and right now it's floating. And I just want you to understand what a horizon line does. So a horizon line or a table line is where the sky comes down and meets the earth. So if you're looking at an ocean or you're driving in a car and you're looking into the distance, the line that's created between the sky and the earth, that's the horizon line. So this little cylinder right here, if I put a line going down here, you're going to notice that it looks like it's floating in the sky. It's floating up in the air. This would be the ground and the can is floating up in the air. If I put a line here, it's still floating. It's still going up in the air. But if I put a line here, and this were my table, or my horizon line, so the horizon line can be the line from the wall to a table, or the sky to the earth. But do you see how now your can is now sitting on a table? And do you see how this one is floating? So I want you to make a decision. Do you want to have a can that floats, or do you want a can that is sitting on a table? And I've decided that I want my can to be sitting on the table. Now your line doesn't need to be way up here. It should be more towards the bottom, but it needs to be higher than these two corners right here. So it should be somewhere in here. So I'm going to put my horizon line right here. And what I do is I draw here, and then I lift up my crayon and I kind of hover it over the paper and I pretend like I'm drawing across, because do I want my other horizon line to come up here? No, that wouldn't look right. So I'm going to come over, kind of pretend like I'm drawing on top, and then I'm going to put my crayon back down and continue. So there is my horizon line or my table line. Now the next thing we're going to do, you're going to take your yellow crayon and we are going to color in this middle yellow circle with a nice yellow. And I suppose you could paint this too if you wanted to paint it in yellow. The reason we're doing this is we're going to create a wax resist. So if we were to we're going to paint part of this. And if you don't have watercolors, you're going to use your crayon. So I have watercolors here. So what we would do is we are going to paint the top red. Now if you don't have watercolors, you're going to use your red crayon and you're going to color inside this top area. We're going to leave the bottom area white. We're not going to color in this part. We're just going to do this. So I'm going to take my paintbrush, I'm going to get a little bit of water, and I'm going to go with my red. And remember, if you remember the last time, if I go around and around and around and around and around a lot, I'm going to get a really nice strong color. And I realize that is not red, is it? Uh-oh. So this is what I'm going to do. So teachers make mistakes too. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my paper towel and I'm just going to blot this. Let's see if I can't pick up as much of that as I can. And that's okay, because hey, everybody makes mistakes. I'm going to rinse my brush off and I'm going to dry my brush off, make sure there's no more paint on there, and I'm going to go to the red. The red, this is the magenta that I have, and here is the red. So I'm going to go back, get my red, nice strong red, and I bet that would just, look at that, it just covers it right up. You might see a little bit through, but that's okay. Now when you're holding your paintbrush and you're painting, you want to be holding it like a pencil, so down here, not way back here. So if you're writing your name in a pencil and you're holding your pencil way back here, it's kind of sloppy, right? Same thing when you're working with a paintbrush. If you hold your paintbrush down by the bristles, these are the bristles, if you hold it down by the bristles, you are going to end up being able to control where the paint is going. So I need a little more water in there because this part's getting a little dry. The other thing you want to be careful of is you don't want to have a puddle inside. So we want to try and keep from getting a puzzle. So you are going to paint this in all the way through. Notice how I'm being careful. Just taking my time and not rushing. Now the other thing is, if you started painting on this side and then you went to this side and you were like, oh no, because I can get stuff, my fingers dirty, I can turn my paper so that I am not going to get my hand dirty, and I'm not going to be accidentally spreading paint places I don't want it to go. A little more water. It's okay to grab more water and go back to the same color, but if you're going to change colors, that's when you need to make sure that you are rinsing off your brush and making sure it's nice and clean and checking on your paper towel. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to rinse my brush. I'm going to pretend like I'm painting the bottom of my bucket. This is going to open up those bristles, and it's going to get all that paint that's stuck inside out. And then I'm going to use my paper towel to check my brush. Yep, it's clean because I don't see any paint there. Now you get to decide, boys and girls, what color do you want to use for the background and what color do you want to use for the table. I would choose 2 different colors. I would not choose red and I would not choose yellow. And I would stay away from brown and black. So choose an orange or a blue or a green or a purple and something up here and a different color down here. Then you're going to clean up your area, take a picture, and turn it in.